Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining me. My name is Susan McVeigh, and I am a business sales strategist helping female entrepreneurs just like you close more sales with more ease without the sleaze so that you can have the money and impact that you deserve, a life of freedom and flexibility that you so desperately desire. So today I'm talking about why being an introvert can actually help you to sell. Now, I am a huge introvert. My whole life. And I am not a natural born salesperson. In fact, I've kind of decided to proclaim myself the anti-sales sales coach because I don't like some of the sleazy tactics that people are teaching that don't feel good, that don't feel natural to most people, let alone introverts, right? So here's what I've learned in working with thousands of people, of introverts, extroverts, men, women, all shapes and sizes and backgrounds and demographics. If you're saying that just because you're introverted that you can't sell, that it's harder for you to connect, I'm calling you out right now because as an introvert, as somebody who has made a career of selling where that wasn't my original intention and now built a six-figure business going on multiple six figures from the basis of teaching other people how to sell and sell authentically, sell naturally, sell easily. You can sell when you are an introvert, and here's why. And I'm going to generalize here. I'm going to speak from my own example, so bear with me, because it's not going to apply to everybody, but it's going to apply to the vast majority of you that are introverted and struggling to sell. When you are introverted, it doesn't speak to how outgoing or not outgoing you are. It speaks to how you replenish your own energy source. And typically what that means is that you're not very good in crowds because it's exhausting. It really drains you. It takes a lot out of you, and it makes you tired. I know that's how it is for me. And so yes, although I am not super outgoing, I have been to networking events throughout my life and continue to do that here in the online space as well. The best thing that I can offer to you as an introvert when you are looking to sell and connect with individuals is to take advantage of your natural skill sets, take advantage of your ability to go narrow and deep with the individuals that you're building relationships with. Because as an introvert, again, the more spread out your energy and focus is, typically with more people, the more draining it's going to be. And so this is where, for most of you, it's going to be a lot easier for you to build very deep, meaningful connections with individuals one-to-one. That means that even if you're working in a networking group, at a conference, at an in-person event, through an online speaking event, a telesummit, whatever the case may be, or even through your videos, that when you have an opportunity to connect with somebody one-to-one, right, over a period of time and really build that relationship, is going to give you a lot more personal satisfaction, and it's going to naturally jive more with your introverted tendencies. Now, how do you flip that into being able to leverage that for your sales? Well, here's the thing. People buy from people, and we buy from individuals who we know, like, and trust. The fact that you like to build deep relationships, typically as an introvert, means that you have a bit of a leg up because it makes things easier to build those types of relationships where people are going to naturally gravitate more towards that building know, like, and trust, right? So I want you to think about how you connect with individuals. How do you like to build conversations? How do you like to learn more about them? And if you are not allowing yourself to go deeper because it feels awkward, allow yourself to do what comes naturally to you because it will build trust faster. Hi, Katya. Thanks for joining. So I hope this is making sense so far. If you are an introvert, you typically don't like a lot of small talk, not a lot of surface kind of information, which means that you are primed to go to the places where other people might feel uncomfortable. You know, you can go deeper in a conversation and kind of dig into the layers to help you to identify the individuals that you are truly meant to serve and to help and to be able to connect with at a much more meaningful level than just the small talk of, hey, how's it going? Where are you from? Do you have any kids? Like, the stuff that you can find out if you were just to social stalk somebody that you potentially think you can work with. As an introvert, you're going to be able to hear what's left unsaid, because most of us introverts, we listen more than we talk. You have probably better question and asking skills in that you really are thoughtful, introspective, and that you appreciate actually learning about people. So you take the time to ask some genuine questions. And again, this does not mean that extroverts can't do this, but what I'm saying is that introverts, these are the things that you typically will do anyways. So why are you not doing this if it can help you to lead to natural relationships that will eventually lead to sales? And time again, what I'm hearing so often, especially in the online space, is I can't do this. I'm an introvert. It's too hard for me. Like, I'm not outgoing enough. You have to just put yourself out there to sell. Look, you only need to find one person who's willing to buy from you. And once you figure it out why they bought from you, how you can help them, what it is that they connect to you about, then you can put that on repeat and just find more of those same people. And yes, in the beginning, it's tough, right? It's hard to do this because you have to put yourself out there. You can't operate in a silo. You can't be able to just think all of these things through by yourself. You have to have a real life person to be able to walk with you, talk with you, and help you to move through. But that doesn't mean that you have to find 20, 30, 40, 100 people. One. And I know for a lot of you, this might give a sense of relief. And for others of you, this is going to be like, oh my God, now that I can do this, this is worrisome, because it means there's no excuse that's holding you back from just going out and doing this. So if you're watching and you're an introvert, can you just let me know in the comments by saying yes or put the number 1 so I can see if you're on here, if you relate to what I've just shared with you. Katya says small talker. I know, I don't like doing that. And I know that there's some sales coaches and some business coaches out there that are like, create rapport, build a connection. And some of you, especially if you're an introvert, you're thinking, how the heck do I do that? Because I want to know all the things. I want to just go deep right away. And for some people, when you're first starting a relationship, that can be really overwhelming, right? It's like, whoa, Nelly. It's as if you've gone on a coffee date with somebody and all of a sudden they're asking you to marry them because they want to know all the things. And as introverts, we don't like to skate at the surface, right? We like to go deeper, and that is okay. It is totally a great personality trait to have. But what it means is knowing that about yourself, you can totally be honest with people and say, you know what? I'm an introvert. I actually like to know things about the people that I meet that are insightful and helpful so that I can see whether or not we're going to get along. Is it okay if I ask you some questions that you might find to be a little bit personal? And feel free to say, I'm not comfortable answering that if it doesn't feel okay for you. You can preface all of this and not feel awkward, because the people who don't get you will just say, okay, that's weird. I don't like that. And you move on to the next person, right? You don't need to take offense. But for those of you that are like, oh my God, you've just given me such a relief, Susan, because I don't want to talk about the weather. I don't want to talk about, oh, I saw your picture with your dog. If you don't have a dog, right? Like, these are the things that you feel awkward about. So stop and go wherever you need to go in the conversation to actually connect meaningfully with the individuals that you're meant to serve, because ultimately, selling is serving and serving is selling. Those two are connected. And if you continue to serve people without selling, you are doing them a disservice, and you are doing yourself a disservice as a business, because you are not sustainable. And eventually you will go kaput, which means that somebody out there that deeply needs what it is that you offer will no longer have access to you, which is extremely sad. Right? Because we all have a gift. We all have a God-given gift that we are meant to pursue and share, but not for free. As a business, you can't do that. As a charity, later on, you can provide foundations and charitable arms of your business activities to be able to give back to your community. But it's just like the analogy in the airplane. You need to make money first. That is your oxygen mask. And then you put the oxygen mask on somebody else, which means you can give away scholarships, foundations, set up trusts, you name it, you can do it. But first, you got to get your own business house in order. Hello, Erica. Thank you for joining. Semi-introvert, extroverted introvert. I am the same. And again, introversion is not a sign of how outgoing or not that you are. I can't remember what the other word is for outgoing, not outgoing, shy. It means how you get energized, right? Or do you get energized from being around people, or do you get energized from being alone? And so as an introvert, you're typically going to get more energized from being alone, which means that being with people, which if you are in a business, you are typically going to need to be around people, whether it's your team, your clients, your colleagues, whoever it is that is helping to support you in the growth of your business. And especially for those of you that are working with high-end clients, premium coaching or consulting services, done for you types of work, you have to talk to your clients, which means that you actually need to have a conversation. And the more that you do that, the more draining you're going to find things, because you need to replenish with your own energy, like by being by yourself, having some time to introspect and reflect and do all of those things. So as an introvert, let's take advantage of the fact that you like to go deep in terms of the relationships that you build with people, that you don't like to waste a lot of time on small talk. You don't need small talk to build rapport. Rapport means that you have common ground. That's it. So as long as you figure out what the common ground is, you're going to be able to move forward in seeing and assessing whether or not this relationship is worth building. And ultimately, without a relationship, there is no sales. And it doesn't matter whether it's a product or service. People need to feel something, some sort of connection with you in order to decide whether or not they're going to buy. It doesn't matter if it's a $1 product, a $10, $100, $1,000, or $100,000, or even $1 million. It really doesn't matter. What matters is the feeling that they have when they buy from you, the feeling that they have when they listen to your advice, and the feeling that they have when they think about whether or not you are the expert to guide them on whatever it is that they're doing. And obviously, the transformation, the result, is going to be directly related to the amount that you're going to charge, right? Because there needs to be a bit of give and take there. So I hope this was helpful to help those of you that are struggling to sell because you're holding on to the excuse of being an introvert. Being introverted, there is no excuse for not being able to sell. Those two are separate. And in fact, some of my best salespeople, my clients and my staff in corporate, were introverts because they took the time to build genuine relationships, because they took the time to listen and actually remember small little details about clients that made them feel like they actually mattered, so that they were no longer just a number, they were no longer just a dollar sign, a walking dollar sign, but they actually were a living, breathing human. So I'm going to share an example of just generally what not to do. And this is where, for some of you that are introverted, you may have been trying to do things that are designed for individuals who are not introverted. Okay, so there's a different way to sell when you are extroverted versus introverted, because it's not going to feel right for you. So let me know if you are here right now and if you have tried to sell in a way that does not feel right to you, why it didn't feel right. What did you try and how did it make you feel? So I can help you if you are on here live, and if you are on replay, feel free to tag me and I can come back in and answer for you. So one of my friends just shared earlier today, and I've had this happen to me before, where individuals slide into your inbox, right? Whether that's here on Facebook or any other social media platform, and without having any sort of conversation, context, or information, they spam you with, here's my pitch, like, buy this, buy now, it's going away. Doesn't feel good, right? Because they haven't taken the time to create rapport and that common ground of, do you even need this thing? Do you even have a problem I can solve? Can I help you with something? And taking those basic steps of just being a human first, right? Common courtesies that we forget for the chase of the holy dollar, that we don't even think about, how does this come across to the other person? Put yourself in the other person's shoes. If you are being sold something or asked to buy something, is this how you would want to be approached? And as an introvert, if you don't want somebody to spend and waste time talking about small talk or talking about things and you're like, can you just get to the point? Don't do that. It's totally okay to do it the way that feels natural to you. And if you're struggling because you feel awkward about doing that, let it go. Because the people that you're not meant to connect with, they won't get it. And it will allow you to then just go, hey, I don't think we're a good fit. I'll let you go. And no hard feelings, right? It's totally okay. But what if you could connect with somebody who's like, oh my goodness, you are the person for me, because I hate how everybody else does this. And you're so refreshing with the way that you've been able to interact with me. And it just feels like a natural fit. Well, guess what? That could happen for you. So don't hide behind the mask of somebody else. And I find that so often when we release the mask of corporate, right, that all the rules and regulations that your corporate 9 to 5 or whatever is that past old identity that you're holding on to has left you with, that we do the same thing in our entrepreneurial world, in our businesses, because we feel like we have to fit the box. So-and-so told me to do it this way, so I got to do it this way. Or this person's doing it this way, and it's giving them a lot of success, even though I don't really agree with it. I'm going to do it anyways because it gave them success. Well, guess what? Just because it worked for them doesn't mean it's going to work for you. And in fact, I'm going to suggest that if you don't believe in it, if it feels really awkward, and if it does feel like you're putting on a mask or a costume, it's actually going to be harder for you to get success because it just won't feel authentic to you. And that will come across whether or not you intend it or mean it or realize it. So do things that feel right for you. And if you need some help and guidance, please reach out to mentors, coaches, somebody that can help guide you, but that understands who you are as a person, what works best for you, and then be able to give you some guidance that makes sense for you, not for everybody else. Okay? Erica says, yep, and they're on the receiving end. Nice to know that's why. Yes, me too. As a sales coach, the anti-sales sales coach, I give feedback, and I'm going to say 9 times out of 10, most people, they don't want to improve, or maybe it's because they've been taught a certain way and they want to follow it all the way through. I'm giving you all permission right now that if you've ever been taught something that just does not feel right to you and you're wondering, like, do I keep going? No, don't keep going unless it is a technical skill. If it is a technical skill that you need to practice, then yes, keep going. But if it is a strategy or a tactic that just does not fit for you and it feels wrong, then viscerally, you are probably going to have some sort of a reaction. Don't keep going. The only things that you need to learn are skills. But the rest of it is part of like you being able to assess as a business owner, does this actually feel right for me? And if it's not, I need to go back to the drawing board and get something else that's going to work better. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. Thank you so much for joining me if you're on here live, Katya and Erica. And for those of you that are on replay, if you need any help and support, please feel free to tag me just so that I know, and or you can come on over to my free community. We're about to start a challenge in the next couple of weeks to help you to make more sales in 2018, but certainly to close out 2017 strong. So come on over to Successful Sales Strategies, and we would love to have you there. Thanks so much, and we will see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.